So you guys know I am always looking for a good grip for my Switch. Always looking for something new, innovative, comfortable, obviously. And you may also know that on this channel, we also like to take a look at Joy-Con replacements. And I think with this that I have found a very good solution for both. So this thing right here is made by a company called dobe. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know any other way to pronounce it, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and call it for this video. Anyway, they just call it a controller, and it's got these numbers on the back, and that's the name. So instead of calling it the TNS 19252, we're gonna call this thing the GripCon. I honestly don't know if that's already taken, but for this video, it's called the GripCon. What's up, guys? Welcome back, or welcome in for the first time. If you are new here, do me a favor. Jump down in the description, click the link to our Discord. It's a brand new Discord that we had just set up. There's not a whole lot of people in there yet, so jump in, hang out with us there. We are in there every day talking about Animal Crossing, Zelda, Switch grips, Joy-Con replacements, everything. It's been a great time so far, so make sure you guys click that link in the description and hop in there and hang out with us. Okay, so to give you a little bit of a backstory on this thing, I actually reached out to the company for a different product. They had something I was a little bit more interested in this, but once it got here, it ended up kind of being the same exact thing as what I was gonna compare it to. There's not really any difference at all, so I didn't really see the point in making a video on just that. But they did actually end up sending over a lot more stuff than just the one product that I asked them to take a look at. And one of those things was this. And you know, we've seen these things before. The Switch tablet just kind of slides right into this thing, and it's all one big piece. Now, as I said, we've seen these before. Dobe actually put out a different one before this, and I think iPega had another one out. Both of them looked similar, but they were both ugly. So I never really had an interest in these things at all until this one showed up. I decided it's here, I'll check it out. And I've actually been using this thing a ton, believe it or not. Which, as I said, is kind of weird because I never really had an interest in this type of a product for my Switch at all. That might be because the other ones looked really dumb. This one doesn't look dumb, in my opinion. I think this one looks pretty good. The difference in those ones and this one is the controller areas on the side actually reach all the way up to the top of the Switch, so they sit flush just like Joy-Cons would. The other ones didn't. I think they only came up like halfway, and it really looked awkward, and it didn't really look like it was that comfortable. Maybe it was, I don't know, but this, I can tell you for sure, is very comfortable. So the grip aspect of this is, it's good. I don't really know what grip I would compare it to. It's kind of its own thing, but it is comfortable. Not too big, not too small. I think this will actually fit most size hands. Maybe not people with really small hands, but for the most part, I think everybody's gonna be able to use this. So as far as the way this thing looks though, it kind of just makes it look like it has a beefy set of Joy-Cons on the end. Kind of like those ones we reviewed a month or so back. I really like those. These do feel similar to those, but I'd say the look and feel is kind of closer to the Split Pad Pro. But one thing that is definitely good about this over the Split Pad Pro is it doesn't make your Switch nearly as wide. When you put those things on the end of your Switch, that thing gets extremely wide. This isn't like that. It actually kind of wraps over the front of the Switch and holds onto it right there, as you can see. And it definitely gives it a little bit more of a sleeker look. It doesn't look awkwardly wide, which I think when you put the Split Pad Pro on the Switch, it does. It definitely, it's wide. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this is gonna make your Switch thicker from the front where the screen is to the back, because it does have a big back plate that goes all the way across, which honestly doesn't really make that big of a difference because the grips are way bigger than that anyway, so anything you're gonna be putting it in is gonna have to be big enough to fit those grips anyway. So this, to me, isn't a huge deal. And with it being thicker and going all the way across, it actually does give the Switch a little bit higher level of protection. Not a whole lot, but you're not gonna have to worry about Joy-Con rails snapping off the side if you drop it. I mean, obviously you will have to still worry about the other things that could happen, but the Joy-Con thing, I guess, won't be an issue with this. I mean, you know, if you drop it on the screen, you know. Now you're probably saying to yourself, yeah, that looks cool, but I don't have a case that thing's gonna fit in. But there is a solution for that. Dobe actually sells this grip con with and without a case. So I will say the only way that I have seen this online, on Amazon or anywhere else I can find it, it does not have the case included. On their website, they do show an option with and without, but again, I have not seen it with the case. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, you're gonna be able to find those on Amazon or wherever you may be looking for this, but as of right now, I can't find it with the case. If that changes, I will put that link in the description below as well. And really quickly, we'll go over the case. Nothing crazy here. It's got a flap on the top to keep some extra stuff. It's got a place for games. It's got a flap to protect the screen. It does have a custom insert on the bottom that does fit this grip con in there perfectly. It's also got a space for your Joy-Cons to go underneath, and it's got a space in the middle here, which I'm guessing is for a small power bank or something, but I haven't quite figured that out. If you guys know what this space is for, let me know in the comments. Other than that, you know, this thing's pretty basic. Pretty much the same material you're gonna find on a lot of other cases out there. The same handle, decent zippers. It works. It's a nice little extra, and as I said, it does fit the grip con inside. Okay, now something I find really, it's cool, but it's a little bit strange with this thing. It actually comes with 3 interchangeable thumbsticks, but it's only for the right side. Which, okay, I mean, I guess that's fine, but my biggest problem is it doesn't come with one that matches the stick that's on the left. So no matter which one you put on there, you don't have an exact match for the stick that is stuck on there, which I find very strange. They do have this one here it's pretty close, but it's not the same. And then one of the other ones that they include with it is almost exactly the same. It's a little bit shorter, and instead of the middle dipping down in, it just kind of pops up. It's pretty much the same stick. Now they do include this little nub here as well. It's kind of like a C stick on a GameCube controller. So that's pretty cool. Little weird that it's only one side. Little weird that 2 of them are pretty much exactly the same, but they do go on and off very easily. But once they are on, they stay on. You don't have to worry about these things falling off easy or anything like that. I do think they probably would have been better off giving you a different option for the third stick. These two are, they're very close. Like I said, one's a little taller, you know, they're a little bit different, but I feel like they probably could have done something a lot more different with the third one, but not a big deal. I've been using this one here most of the time, so it doesn't really matter, but just something I wanted to mention. So back to the actual grip itself. One thing I do like about this, well, no, it cannot be put in a dock, and it does require to use the USB-C port on the bottom to connect the controls. This thing connects just like a wired controller would connect to your Switch. So make sure when you buy this thing that you go into your settings first and turn on the wired controller function. I didn't do that. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Anyway. But the point I'm trying to make here is they actually include another USB-C pass-through on the bottom. So you can charge this thing while it is in the grip. So if your battery's starting to die and you're in the middle of a play session, you can just plug it in like normal. It does charge the Switch just as good as the original USB-C port. So that's a bonus. Always good to have something like that on board here. And something else that I have not mentioned, which to me is a major deal. And again, like other things, why I say this is actually better than the Split Pad Pro. This has the motion controls. So with this, you are going to be able to aim your bow in Breath of the Wild. You're going to be able to use tilt controls in Mario Kart. Any game that uses that feature on the Switch, you are going to be able to do with this. To me, that's a huge deal. That's something the Joy-Cons have that I just don't really want to play without. And again, I know not everybody feels that way, but to me, that is a deal breaker for me. If it doesn't have the motion control tilt, I pretty much don't use it. And I guess since we're talking about things that this has that the Split Pad Pro doesn't have, we'll go ahead and throw Rumble into that list. This does have Rumble, and it's actually a decent rumble. It's not like a lot of other third-party controllers that have crazy rumble that's completely out of control. This is pretty mild. I did notice that I plugged those replacement Joy-Cons that I like so much back in, and compared to this, they have a really intense rumble. This was much better than those. Obviously, it's not HD rumble, but nothing third-party has HD rumble to my knowledge at this point, so not a big deal. All right, so a few other things about this I want to mention. The buttons, they all feel fine. They're fairly close to a Pro controller's buttons. All the face buttons feel just fine. The D-pad is, it's a little stiff, kind of clicky. It's fine. Not the best D-pad ever, but it works very well, and you really shouldn't have any issues with it. The shoulder buttons are all fine. ZR and ZR are a little bit loose, in my opinion, but other than that, you know, that's me nitpicking. They're fine. All the buttons work. Everything's very responsive. I did test the sticks. They have a slight dead zone around the edges, but almost every third-party controller that I test has that dead zone. This one is very, very small. Some of them are huge, so I don't think it's a big deal on these at all. Again, like I've said in past videos, if I wasn't telling you this right now, you probably wouldn't even notice. I also did want to mention that anybody worried about this thing scratching your Switch, it's not gonna be a problem. As you can see here, it's got this felt-like material all over the back, and I have been taking my Switch in and out of this thing for 2 weeks now, using different Joy-Cons that I'm testing for other videos, putting it back in this, using this. I have absolutely no issues. There is no scratching whatsoever. It also does, as you can see here, have the cutouts for the vents on the back, so nothing's being covered up like that. All the vents work exactly the same as they would if you just had a regular pair of Joy-Cons on there, so there should not be any overheating issues, anything like that at all. But like I said, I will have an affiliate link to this thing in the description below. If I find the one with the case, I'll also link that. But I mean, guys, I gotta tell you, this, like I said in the beginning of the video, is not something that I would have bought myself, ever. But I do like it. Now that I have actually used one of these things, I do like this one. Again, I wouldn't have bought the old version, and I wouldn't buy the one from iPega because I just think they're ugly. But I think this looks good, and it works really well. It's comfortable, it's sturdy, it's really got the best of both worlds as far as a good Joy-Con replacement and a grip. And guess what? With all that stuff, it's cheaper than the SplitPad Pro. I know I say that a lot, but I just don't think the SplitPad Pro is worth 50 bucks. I mean, I wasn't interested in this thing. Not at all, but I like it. I've been using it a decent amount, and I'm going to continue to use it. Like I said, it does have a few weird things. The sticks are, it's kind of weird that you don't get one to match exactly, but it's really a small detail. That's just not a huge deal. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, check the link below. Also, the link to the Discord is in the description as well. Make sure you guys hop in there and say hello. But with all that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, make sure you are subscribed, and we will see you in the next one.